It's that perfect time of the year. Rosh Chodesh Mar Cheshvan, the beginning of the Zman Choref, the Winter Zman 5784, a time when yeshiva bachrim around the world are traveling back to their yeshivos to sequester themselves inside of the yeshiva where they will sit for this year, with the leap year and extra Adar, 6 straight months delving into the depths of the Talmud. And you can really feel a change in the air as the winter is rapidly approaching. It starts to become darker earlier in the day. The drive home from work, it has a certain colder, darker way about it. You look around, you begin to see the signs of winter. Cars topped and caked with mud and the salt that they use to salt the streets to remove the ice that has been kicked around and now cakes the cars. It's all a sign that here we go. It's time to kick the tires and light the fires for Winter Zman 5784. Maybe, just maybe, you have had that awesome experience when you go out to your car right at this perfect time where it isn't 30 degrees outside yet. It's not the depths of the cold winter of December. It's also not steamy and hot. It's that perfect 40 to 50 degrees outside at nighttime when you're thirsty. You wake up in the morning and you go to your trunk and you left your case of seltzer in the trunk, and it's that perfect freezing temperature right there ready to drink. The crisp 40 degrees. It's the Winter Zman. It's just different. And while the yeshiva schedule is divided up, it has been really for quite some time, I believe all the way back since the days of Volozhin, the mother of all yeshivos. It's a 3-headed monster. There is the Elul Zman, the Winter Zman, and the Summer Zman. And the Elul Zman is very much this spiritual high and this awakening where for 1 month it's pedal to the metal before the yeshiva closes during Tishrei. And at the end of the year, Summer Zman, very much in a happy atmosphere packed with review of some of the topics studied during the Winter Zman. But the success of a yeshiva bacher is very much determined based on his Winter Zman. Some of the greatest gedolim to have ever graduated from the top and premier yeshivos, those like Slobodka and Kelm and Volozhin, have testified that a Winter Zman was when they really steiged and when they really transformed themselves into real Talmidei Chachamim. With the nights so long, and as the Rambam tells us, the nights are created for the study of Torah. Some would study the entire Thursday night. They would blitz to finish the Masechta that they were learning. Yeah, it's all about the Winter Zman. And even those of us that aren't in yeshiva, time is created equal, and we all have this 6-month stint of time between Sukkot and Pesach. And we have to do with it whatever we choose. So how can we best maximize Winter Zman 5784? How do we grab on to all of its potential? And instead of dreading waking up every morning, that it's so cold that we cannot throw our blanket off, but no, to wake up inspired on a certain quest for greatness. So, where better to look than the great Mir Mashgiach, Rav Yeruchom Levovitz, for his opening talk, his opening remarks, as the lead Mashgiach of Yeshivas Mir during the Roaring Twenties, when he welcomed the Bacharim back to Yeshiva, and he gave them a Musar discourse about the Hascholas Hazman, the beginning of Hazman. And he opened with a Gemara, Masechta Tainus 12a, Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Very interesting that when a person will accept upon themselves a fast, for whatever reason, it must be vowed. You must take upon this fast at a certain time of the day, says the Gemara. Kol Tainus, any fast, shelo kibel alav mibodium. If you don't accept it early in the day, from the beginning of the day, lav shmei Tainus. It's not a fast. Even if you may have fasted almost all of the day, but you never, at the beginning of the day, made a kabbalas hatainus, you made that commitment to have a fast, well then, there's no halachos of tainus there. It's just, quite frankly, you're just hungry. Because Rav Yeruchom tells us, the secret to a good zman is a good haschala, a good beginning, a starting on the right foot, when you know where you're beginning and where you are headed to. It's unbelievable. The beginning of something isn't just another one of its parts. But Toiv Acharis Davar, Shlomo HaMelech told us that the end of something is good. Meirei Shiso, when you begin properly from its beginning. And as the Bachram came back, he would tell them, help them organize, to have a good start. And how clear it is, because we normally know that wherever the Yetzer Hara fights us very strongly, it is clear that right there is something very important. How does the first day of every new stint of time look? The first day of camp, there's never any leagues. It's always organizing. The first day of yeshiva, everyone's still unpacking, trying to find a chavrusa. The first day of a job, very hard to get your wits and figure out what's really going on and what's flying and who's going where. But Aschala, right now, as Cheshvan is here, a bitter month with no holidays, but it's rather sweet in the way that we get to begin this Winter Zman with the right foot. Further, it is well known that Parshas isn't just another one of the Parshios. No, there's something different. There is an inception of the world, a creation of the world. God brought forth a Maisa Bereshis. And Rav Yeruchom says, it takes a certain Maisa Bereshis on a Zman, on this winter. Not just lollygag through it, but to begin by setting yourself up for success. Haschala. That's the key. And if we seek to have our habits, our mitzvos, our davenings endure, it takes a good haschala. Even Klal Yisrael, how is it that we could and should endure, other than obviously Hashem causing it at every second? But when Bilam looked down at the Jewish people, he saw a reason why we would endure. I look down and I see this nation, they are strong from its roots. Rashi's explaining this pasuk and he says, they're avos. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they were locomotives. They were unstoppable. They built this binyan, this skyscraper upon such a firm foundation. Their haschala was good. Well, they're destined for greatness. So that's what Rav Yeruchom would say. Right now, make the necessary preparations to come to the Zman properly. When you land, you'll be happy that you started the way that you did. But the takeoff is where everything happens. Organizing the schedule and seeing to what you're actually out here to accomplish. It's actually, even on a deeper level, it's hard for us to grasp this. For we know that the building of the Beis HaMikdash, the first one, was actually put together by Shlomo HaMelech. But we say in davening, Psalms 30, Mizmar Shir Chanukas Habayis LeDavid. It's the inauguration of David's temple. Now, you probably know that it wasn't King David. Why is it attributed to him? But based on a bunch of psukim and rayas, Rabbi Yeruchom puts forth because David was the one who had this arousal and excitement about doing it. It was his idea. He was the impetus. He was the haschala, and everything goes after the haschala. But you begin a mitzvah, You have to finish it. Because a beginning isn't just one of the parts of the whole, one of the cogs of this wheel, but it is exactly where everything goes down right there at the Haskalah. So Mar Cheshvan is beautifully Mar. It's a bittersweet month where we set up Winter Zman 5784. And one of the real places, drilling into the second idea approach that Rav Yeruchom would give, but it's very much connected to the first one. It's actually the next shtickle right after it, but it seems like it's a hemshich. It's really a continuation. It's well known that one of the hallmark attributes of this boutique yeshiva in Yeshivas Kelm, the Talmud Torah, headed by Reb Simcha Zisel Ziv Broida, in which Rabbi Yeruchom actually only spent 9 months by him. But everything that he did in his life, Rabbi Yeruchom said, I'm just trying to spread and relive the Alter's Torah, to disseminate it. And one of the main things was Seder, was orderliness. Everything was done with exactness. And the altar of Kelm, he gave a mashal. His parable was, you may have beautiful jewels on a necklace, pearls. You daven great. You learn great. You have yiras shamayim. All the different beautiful attributes that will crown this necklace. But the little string, that strand of the necklace, the chain that keeps all of them together, is Seder, is living orderly. Attacking things in a very methodical, smooth, systematic type of way. For otherwise, one day it's great, davening hard, learning hard, and then everything falls apart. And all of the jewels, when Seder snaps, go tumbling to the floor. So to begin properly means to organize the schedule, to set your routine. Because truthfully, perhaps even more powerful than a good 1 month high of Elul is the subtle drip by drip routine that Winter Zman gives us. When you set up a 5-minute chavrusa, it's very interesting. It becomes a part of your schedule and a part of you much faster than just a very exciting and intense all-night learning, maybe during Elul. To do mitzvos here, anashim milumada, doing them milumada in a good way, Rabbi Yeruchom tells us, if you do something so consistently, even though it's something so small, when you set your Seder and you know where you are going at which time and what you are doing at each different period of your Winter Zman, success will be had. Success is imminent. Like the water that Rabbi Akiva saw dripping on the rock. In CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, when somebody is struggling with some form of worry, anxiety, is anxious about something, one of the most common treatment plans is the type of response therapy in which somebody will be exposed to their ultimate fear, but by slowly habituating themselves to the fear, it eventually becomes tolerable and the anxiety wears away. Someone's afraid of heights, they just keep going on the roller coaster and going up very high. They lock themselves in and eventually the fear dissipates and the anxiety becomes very tolerable, hardly creates anxious feelings at all. So the routine and the 6-month dark Winter Zman gives us an ability to create habituation in a lot of areas. So he would coax his Talmidim, Rabbi Yeruchom would cajole his students, and make for yourself a schedule, a routine. And do that at the beginning. Set up a haskalah, a proper haskalah, that during this time, I'm organizing that I'm davening at a makom kavua here. I don't daven at any minyan that I find. This is my spot. I daven here at this time. This is my shul. These are my chavrusas. This is my business. This is when I work. This is when I'm with the family. This is what I do on Sundays. This is when I take my daughter out for ice cream. This is when I go and get up in the morning. This is when I sleep in on this day. This is when I need my rest. This is when, this is when, this is when, this is when. Because with routine and with this systematic inception of the Winter Zman, from Maisa Bereshis all the way until the very end of this Winter Zman by Pesach, this is how we get the most out of it. Rav Shlomo Ganzfried in his Kitzar Shulchan Aruch actually points out how easy it is to habituate yourself to good habits. He says to wake up in the morning, even though you may feel tired, weary, you want more sleep. The Yetzer Hara has got you held down underneath the cozy covers. You just do it 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times, less than a week. You start a routine, and it becomes easy. And life attests to this fact. So, Winter Zman 5784. Organize your schedule. Make that routine. Make a basis for your success, a yesod. By starting on the right foot, by organizing your schedule, plotting and charting your way to victory. So that wherever you are in the world, wherever you're listening to this, your Winter Zman, the Zman Choref, 5784, it's like you're the best bacher in Volozhin. You're the top guy in Kelm and the Masman and Mevakesh of Slobodka. Where day by day, your routine, it wins. And with habituation, you are successful. And it's this Zman that you will look back to, that you saw that everything changed.